Blow It Up Philly
is in the building.
Shout out to Germany.
We worldwide.
Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like.
Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like.
Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like.
Yeah. Running Back Nation, what is good? It is your boy DJ Eastwood, Running Back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys. Never, ever, ever in my entire existence have I ever even thought about considering maybe once in a while, someday having an intro. We don't have hot tea today. We got cold tea. We got that cold tea on deck. Black and green tea, freshly brewed. I'm just kidding. I didn't brew it. I bought it at Giant. Shout out to everybody in here. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you hang out with me all off season, I appreciate that. Thanks ahead of time. What do I want to say? Me content creators put out content for you for free. All we ask is that you close out the chat right now and hit the like button for me one time. And this episode of Run It Back Philly is brought to you by Factor Meals. Freshly prepared meals delivered to your door for as little as $11 a meal. Go to factor.com/runitback50 for 50% off your first box. What we got? Alex Decker. If Celtics fire Missoula, good luck Sixers with Bucks, C's and Suns. I don't know if your keyboard shorted out right there, if you had if the batteries died or what happened there, but damn, I look white as hell with these lights like this, man. Give me some color. Maybe I just need some sun. Yeah, let's see. If Celtics fire Missoula, good luck Sixers with Bucks, C's and Suns. I don't know what that means. Alex, I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. If the Celtics fire Missoula, does that mean you think the Sixers are going to hire Missoula? Are you saying you want the Sixers to hire Missoula and you're saying good luck because he's going to go to the Bucks or the I don't know. 5 takes in the chat. 5. Starting right now. And Alex, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for supporting the channel. 5 takes in the chat. The question is, was the process era a waste of time? And what I mean by that is you're witnessing right now 2 teams make it to the NBA Finals who did not tank for 9 years like the Sixers did. Now, I know the tank wasn't supposed to last as long as it has, or the process wasn't supposed to last as long as it has. But it's lasted a pretty damn long time. Taz Journey, thanks for being a member of the channel, my man. Embiid versus Jokic debate is over. Yeah, listen, a little bit later on this show, me, DJ Eastwood, am going to apologize to Nikola Jokic. That's going to happen. Let's see. Process era was not a waste because you got Embiid. That's it. Okay, but it was a waste because the only thing you got was Embiid. You didn't tank for that long to get one single player. You know you're not winning anything with one single player. You know that. You tanked for that long to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You tanked for that long to get 2 or 3 star level players and build a deep supporting cast. So if you tanked for that long and you only got one player, yeah, you wasted a whole lot of time. That's what I think. The process was to get a superstar player. We got a superstar player. The process was to build a team with multiple superstar players. And if you're telling me you tanked for 3 years to get one star player, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing because you don't have to implode everything and bottom out your entire franchise for a decade to get one player. You just have to know how to evaluate talent. The New Orleans Pelicans have a couple of star players. They were bad for a long time, but they didn't bottom out, right? They drafted Anthony Davis. Then they flipped Anthony Davis for a slew of other players from the Lakers, on and on and on. You make moves, you make trades, you work with draft picks, you work with free agency. You don't have to gut your team for 10 years. The process era could have worked if we didn't let Mikal or Jimmy walk. Now, there's that side of it. Thank you, Jake Firestone, for that. There is that side of it. It would have worked if you made the right decisions. if you maybe listened to Chauncey Billups and drafted Brandon Ingram instead of Ben Simmons. If you, if you were just better at evaluating talent. What I thought they should have done was draft Joel Embiid and then try to build a team around him. But Sam Hinkie drafted 15 centers in a row. They became the Philadelphia 7-footers. Then Joel got healthy. Then it was like, we can't play 3 centers. Jahlil Okafor straight out of 1987. What are we even doing with this guy? So it was, look, tanking is something teams do to try to get to the top of the draft. What I'm saying is it was a waste of time because you tanked for way longer than any team should ever tank for, and you got one player out of it. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. Hamburglar Helpster. Why can't I put that on the screen, man? Well, you donated $5, but it says message retracted. So thanks for the super chat. I don't know what your comment was. Brothers Keeper, it's officially over. When or if Harden walks, that's the end of the draft picks and everything left from the process error. I don't know if you made an error by typing process error, but the process era was the process error. Hey, I like that. I don't know if you did that intentionally or not. That's a pretty good play on words. You got some bars going on right there. It's officially over when or if Harden walks, but also it's officially over if Harden stays. You just saw what happened in the playoffs. Harden doesn't have what it takes at this stage of his career to get the Philadelphia 76ers to the second round. Him and Joel Embiid collapsed together. Together they collapsed, man. What else we got? Sudlush RZ, thanks for super chat. Philadelphia's G League team is the only Philly team to win a championship this year. I mean, a lot of cities don't have a championship in their city in any given year. It is crazy that the Phillies lost, the Eagles lost in the Super Bowl, the Phillies lost in the World Series. There was another one that were I don't know, the soccer team or something. I don't know. Yeah, and then the Sixers didn't make it out of the second round again. Yeah, that's where we are. Okay, here's the thing, man. The process era was 100% a waste of time. And here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to say, man. Here's what I want to say. You don't need to tank if you know how to evaluate talent. And that's what you're witnessing right now with the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. You tank for one season, you get to the top of the draft, you get your prospect, and then you draft players that fit around that player. The Philadelphia 76ers tanked for... They did that. They tanked for a season. Right? They traded Drew Holiday. I don't know what the Nerlens Noel, Jahlil Okafor thing was about, but they got Joel, and then they should have made every selection after that a player that looks like they could fit beside him for the future. Instead, they went and drafted a 6'11 point guard that won't shoot, which makes no sense in hindsight. We were all for it. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I was saying don't draft Ben Simmons. We thought he was the next freaking Magic Johnson. Turns out he wasn't. But you don't have to tank completely. You just got to be able to evaluate talent. And we're going to go over, a little bit later in this episode, we're going to go down the list of the Denver Nuggets roster, the Miami Heat roster. We're going to look at every player and where they came from when they were drafted, if they were even drafted. And then we're going to look at the 76ers' main transactions from 2013 until now. So it's going to be fun laughing at ourselves today. When I was doing, some research to, just to find some things here, speaking on the topic, I came across a video right here that was posted in 2017, and it's fun. It's fun to listen to because we thought we did it. In 2017, we thought the process worked. Just listen. One more. Kenny Smith, the process was a failure. The Sixers for a long time to build a good team around their generational talents. I agree. I agree, Kenny Smith, and thank you for being a member of the channel. This was in 2017, and why is there music playing? Hold up. Oh, my bad. This was in 2017, and this is when we thought we did it. We thought it was the right thing. This was by Vice Sports, and I just think it's funny. It's a 2-minute clip. Listen to this. Hold on. I don't know if you can hear it. Hold on. I need a producer. There we go. Let's listen to this. This is funny.
Philadelphia 76ers are one of the very worst teams in the NBA, and that is not a new development. Over the last 3 years and change, they have won 61 games and lost 252 games. The weird thing about all this losing is not that there's so much of it, although it is a little weird that there's so much of it. It's that it's all going according to plan. Welcome to the process. In the NBA, the worst teams have the best chance at getting a high draft pick, which is why you sometimes see teams tank a season. When the Sixers hired
a season. You sometimes see teams tank a season.
Hinkie in 2013, he realized that the only way the team was going to turn things around was to get a superstar in the draft. And the only way to get 1 or 2 or 3 of those would be to get really bad.
3 superstars. That was the goal. 3 superstars.
Things had to get worse before they would get better, and they did. They got way worse. And it turns out that making a team bad is actually not really that difficult. You just take the assets that you have and you trade them for draft picks, and then you use those draft picks on players that aren't going to pay off right away. This is what Hinkie did, and the teams that he rolled out were the cheapest, youngest, and worst that the NBA had seen in a really long time. They weren't bad because they didn't try. They did try. They tried really, really hard. They just didn't really have very many NBA quality players on them. And
hey, man, don't talk about Isaiah Cannon like that. Don't talk about Luke Ba-Mute like that.
When the players did become valuable enough to trade, they traded them. Even the draft picks that they used were used with the future in mind. They draft a guy like Joel Embiid, who could be a superstar but was hurt, or they draft a guy like Dario Saric, who could be a really useful player but was tied down in Europe for a couple of years. The whole idea was that this was a long game.
Do you guys remember that, man? We thought Ben, Joel, and Dario were like a big 3.
That they were willing to wait. By the time the Sixers finally caved to pressure from the league and got rid of Hinkie last year, they were 3 years into the process, and it was impossible to tell if it was even working.
It was impossible to tell if it was even working.
It's still pretty hard to tell if it's working, honestly. Embiid, when he played this year, looked like a superstar, but he's hurt again. The guy that they drafted first overall last year, Ben Simmons, missed the whole season with injury. One way or another, it's still kind of a black box.
Oh, we were so blind to what was about to happen. 6 years ago, we were so blind to what was about to happen.
First overall last year, Ben Simmons missed the whole season with injury. One way or another, it's still kind of a black box. They could be building a super team, or they could not.
They could be building a super team, or they could not. Well, 6 years later, they did not build a super team.
But for Sixers fans who had it so mediocre for so long, all this waiting and all this losing is worth it.
All this waiting and all this losing is worth it. That's assuming you were building a team with multiple superstars.
At least now they have something to hope for.
At least now they have something to hope. This end part really hits home, man.
Sixers fans who had it so mediocre for so long, all this waiting and all this losing is worth it. At least now they have something to hope for.
We had so much hope, and that was 6 years ago. Oh my goodness. There's something else I want to play. Let's see. Chris DeMeo, Kyrie is our only option to run it back. You know how I feel about that, Chris. You know how I feel about Kyrie, man. I'm not going there. I'm not going there today. I'm not doing the Kyrie thing today, man. I'm not doing it. Not today, Chris. You're not going to get me today, Chris. Now listen to this. This was Stephen A. Smith in 2017.
You starting to trust the process?
Hell no. And I'm not laughing.
I don't play that game, not even a little bit. I despise it. I can't stand it. My man Mike Missinelli, who does his radio broadcast in Philadelphia, I've got on him about it. I've gotten to the point where I don't even allow him to ask me that question because he knows it's going to tick me off. The people like, my boy Angelo Cataldi, wishing him nothing but the best because he's had some health issues, thinking about him, your radio host in Philadelphia, all of these guys, they know I don't play this mess with this process. And it's very, very simple because I don't believe that any franchise should have the right to lose on purpose for years, while still charging the paying customer and you're making no effort to win. I think it's disgraceful. I think it's disgusting. I can't stand it. And I don't want to hear a damn thing about it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start cursing people out that ask me about it. Not over FCC airways, but when I get off the air. That's how sick I am of this damn process.
Stephen A. has a lot of takes over the years. Obviously, he's on TV talking every single day. He was on the money with that one. And now you fast forward 7 years. Gilbert Arenas on his podcast yesterday said Joel Embiid is lazy. Listen to this. My dog's licking her ass, man. Stop. It's disgusting, man. People are trying to, what are you doing? Anyway.
Will that process ever reach its completion
No.
in our lifetime?
No.
We will not see the completion of that process.
Yo,
It'll still be
until
processed.
someone.
You let me know in the chat. Is this accurate or not? Giacomo said Stephen A. is wrong about that. What was he wrong about? How was he wrong? He said the process is a joke, and it turned out to be a joke. So,
will that process ever reach its completion
No.
in our lifetime?
No.
We will not see the completion of that process.
Yo,
It'll still be
until
processed.
someone tells him
Yo.
you're lazy.
Damn. Yeah, I knew you was going to go back to that.
And when somebody let him know that he's 6'11".
You're lazy.
I'm saying,
And
I was watching somebody say the other day that he might as well be 6'5".
damn, Kenyon Martin with the shot. Bro, this is what I was saying to my boy Jay the Bull the other day when we were having the conversation. So many times I see this dude next to the rim with the basketball and he tries to lay it in and he misses it. You're 7 feet tall, man. Fucking dunk it. Sorry for that F word if you're at work or your school or whatever. Maybe you don't,
Damn.
And-
Yeah.
Hold on, I want to hear it from the beginning. This is the last time I'm rewinding it, I promise.
Completion in our lifetime.
No.
We will not see the completion of that process.
Yo.
It'll still be
Until
processed.
someone tells him
Yo.
you're lazy.
Damn. Yeah, I knew you was going to go back to that.
And when somebody let him know that he's 6'11".
You're lazy.
I'm saying,
And
I was watching somebody say the other day that he might as well be 6'5".
Damn.
Hey, and
Yo.
someone's gonna be like, well, Philly fans are gonna be like, how's he lazy? He won an MVP. That's how lazy he is. That he's that lazy that he can win an MVP. That's how good he is. Now I'll say to a Philly fan,
Damn.
who played harder, him or AI?
Damn.
Now give him AI motor.
What would
That's
he be
the kind of
then?
Embiid you should be looking for.
Real shit.
Give
All right, before we go there, I want to say this. I think what he was trying to say is, because he didn't say it right, he said that's how lazy he is. What he was trying to say is Joel Embiid is so naturally talented. He's so good at this game. I guess not naturally talented. He learned the game, but he picked it up late. But he's so good. He's so skilled at his size that he can be lazy and still win MVP. That's how good he is at the game. What he's saying is Joel Embiid has not taken that next step to take his game to the next level, to take his fitness to the next level, to take his conditioning to the next level, he has not done that. I went over what he looked like in college at 245 pounds. If Joel Embiid was dedicated, he would be around 250 pounds. He wouldn't be 275 or 280. So I think that's what he was trying to say. Now he goes into this AI thing, and I don't know if I really agree with it.
him or AI.
Damn.
Now give him AI motor.
What would
That's
he be
the kind of
then?
Embiid you should be looking for.
Real shit.
Give him AI's motor. If you want to compare
You can't give a 7-footer AI's motor. Allen Iverson was 5'10", $150, bro.
fucking stars,
Yeah.
compare
But I agree, he doesn't have the fight that AI had. And what he showed me in Game 7 was very, very disappointing.
his ability on the court to AIs. How hard did AI play for Philadelphia?
Damn.
Now wish that on Embiid.
Why you roasting him like that?
No, it's not. I'm just saying. That's how much talent I see that I'm saying, wait, hold on. You doing all this and you don't even apply yourself like that.
Man.
I think he's accurate. I think it's right, man. I think it's right.
If you applied yourself like Allen Iverson did on that court, jumping, running, 100 miles an hour, he played his ass off.
He can't do that. But I agree with what he's saying, that if he had Allen Iverson's work ethic, and maybe not work ethic, Allen Iverson didn't go to practice, but Allen Iverson, when he was on the court, gave it 120,000% every single play. And it's hard to say if somebody Joel's size can really do that, but I think he's accurate in saying that Joel hasn't shown that he has the heart and the killer instinct that Allen Iverson had. And Allen Iverson's a very rare player. Most players are not going to have that up and down the floor 48 minutes a game. He was a psycho. You're not going to get that out of Joel. You're just not, and he's been injury prone his whole career. But what he showed me in Game 7, I'm pretty much agreeing with part of his take here that, Joel's so good, so much skill, that he can go out and win MVP. He can go out and dominate the regular season. He can go out and put 60-point triple-doubles on bad teams all season long and win the MVP. He has not yet focused and dedicated himself to taking his game to the next level in the playoffs to take your team to the promised land. I agree with that. And you're watching Nikola Jokic do it right now, and, that's my take on the Gilbert Arenas thing, man. What's your take? What is your take? The Observer Sports: Pistons, Spurs, Rockets, all tanking. Owner sucks. Yeah, tanking. For a year, for 2 years. Yeah, I guess you're right. You tanking works if you can evaluate talent. You didn't even throw the Oklahoma City Thunder in there. They tanked for a couple of seasons. It's just that, yeah, the Sixers tanked and made all of the wrong decisions, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. J.R. Coleman, Joel could average 15 rebounds if he wanted to. I think that's a good way to look at it, man. I say rebound equals effort all the time. And I think that's a good way to look at it. The fact that Joel has games where he finishes the game with 5 rebounds is crazy. And I saw games in the playoffs this season where he had 7 rebounds in the first quarter. You saw a different level of effort all of a sudden when those playoff games started, and then he got burned out. I think what Gilbert is saying is, if he had that level of effort all the time, he would be in better shape. He wouldn't burn out, and maybe he would have taken the Sixers, to the promised land. But who knows, man? But I don't think he's wrong. I think Joel Embiid is so skilled at basketball that he can dominate a large part of the regular season, but he doesn't really apply himself or focus and dedicate himself to try to get to the next level. I think that's true. G. Mayo, the process pretty much ended when we lost Jimmy. We needed wings to get past teams in the East. GMs never took it seriously. Yeah, that's a good point. The wings part is a great point, man. You need wings, and they never even went and looked for one. Or they did, and they just missed every time. Siakam was there, and they took Furkan Korkmaz, just an example. So it's tough, man. It's tough. That's why the coach has to change the culture. The owners here are party with players. Michael Rubin throwing parties and everybody being buddy, friendly. I agree with that. The coach has to change the culture. I agree with that. You went from Brett Brown, who I don't even think was really in charge, to Doc Rivers, who didn't apply any type of pressure on these players at all. Just let them do whatever they want. Hardly had any practices. I mean, he let James Harden went to Vegas in the middle of the playoffs. And he was like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, he came back and played well, but I'm just, the principle of the matter is, like, we're not focused on the playoffs. We're flying to Vegas? What? So I agree with that. Nick, you can't have your first option be a slow big man unless you're Jokic, unless you're good at passing the ball. I think you're right. All right, so we are going to look at the Denver Nuggets roster. We're going to look at we're going to click on every player and see where they were drafted. And we're going to look at the Miami Heat's roster and do the same thing. And then we're going to look at every transaction the Sixers made since 2013. So we're going to put ourselves through misery right now, all right? But before we get there, this is brought to you by Factor Meals. Factor Meals is a food delivery service that delivers you fresh cooked meals to your doorstep for as little as $11 per meal. I'm on the go. I'm always going. I don't always have time to come up with things. And the problem is, when you don't have time to come up with things in the middle of the day, what am I going to do for lunch? You end up going to Taco Bell. You end up going somewhere and eating something you shouldn't be eating. I like to get back in the gym. I like to eat clean. Factor Meals is just perfect for something like that, bro. You get healthy, high protein meals at your doorstep for as little as $11 a meal. You see right here, you pick your pre-made meals, the chef cooks it up for you, they deliver it to your house. You throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes or the oven for 15 or 20. Bing, bang, boom, you're done, and you're eating clean. You're skipping the grocery store. You're skipping the dishes. Everything, man. Look at it. You got shakes and protein smoothies. You got extra protein. There's even snacks and desserts. You got chef's choice protein. There's vegan and vegetarian options. There's keto options. There's calorie smart. They got everything you need. And if you're on the go like me, you get yourself some Factor Meals. They deliver it to your doorstep for as little as $11 per meal. It's a no-brainer. Go to factormeals.com/runitback50 and get 50% off your first box. That's factormeals.com/runitback50 and get 50% off your first box. Let's all eat healthier together. All right, now let's do this. Here we go. Let's get the rosters up here, okay? Because this is what I was thinking last night. I was like, this is what I want to talk about tomorrow because I'm watching these teams get to the NBA Finals. I'm watching these teams get to the NBA Finals. And I'm looking at the roster and I'm saying they evaluated talent correctly. They didn't have to be at the top of the draft 5 years in a row. Bro, we were up there so many times. We were at the top so many times. Jahlil Okafor, Nerlens Noel, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz. We were at the top of the draft 5 times. And we got one player out of it. So where did these teams get their players from? Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Look, here's the Denver Nuggets roster, okay? Bruce Brown. Somebody that Doc Rivers would never have played anyway. But Bruce Brown, all right, where did Bruce Brown come from? Drafted by the Detroit Pistons, second round, 12th pick, 42nd overall. Bounced around a little bit, made his way to over to Brooklyn. He was getting buckets, and then I think free agent signed with Denver or something like that. But either way, they found him. And he's playing solid minutes off the bench for the Denver Nuggets. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, drafted. When was he drafted? This doesn't say. Bio, uniform, draft. Oh, here we go. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, first round, number 8 by the Detroit Pistons. So that was a little bit of a miss by the Pistons in the top of the draft. But then he bounced around a little bit, ended up on the Lakers. Now he's playing a very good role for the Denver Nuggets. So your trash is my treasure. You know what I mean? Christian Braun, Nikola Jokic, second round, 11th pick, 41st pick in the draft. Second round. Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon. You know, it's finding players, even from other organizations, that maybe didn't live up to the hype or maybe didn't live up to, you know, what that team thought they were going to be. And then that player eventually just becomes a role player. Look, first round, number 4 pick in the draft by the Orlando Magic. And, you know, he had the iconic dunk contest with Zach LaVine and all that stuff. But he ends up not being like a top 5 overall pick talent. And Denver says, we'll take him. We can use him the way that he should be used. And they get a lot of value out of somebody like Aaron Gordon. Jamal Murray. This is the one that hurts. 2016 draft. The Philadelphia 76ers take Ben Simmons. Brandon Ingram goes number 2. Jaylen Brown goes number 3. Jamal Murray goes number 7 to the Denver Nuggets, and he ends up being the absolute perfect complement to a guy like Nikola Jokic, who they drafted in the 2nd round a couple years before that. Michael Porter Jr., injury prone, was on the board in 2018. He was supposed to go top 5 if he wasn't hurt. He was supposed to be number 1 overall if he wasn't hurt. He falls all the way to 14 because the back injury in high school, the back injury in college, missed basically his whole college year. He played like a game, I think. So there was this skepticism there. And then he was hurt too when he was in the NBA. Now he's healthy. And they got a steal at number 14. So you know what I mean. Jeff Green, this guy's 40 years old. I don't even understand how he's still in the NBA. 14 years in the NBA. He's 36. This guy's still playing like he's 26. Dunking, running up and down the floor, all these things. We got 38-year-old PJ Tucker. He looks 38. You know? Ish Smith? There's no way Ish Smith is on this team. I didn't know he was still in the NBA. Look at my guy Dish. Look at my guy Dish Smith in the house. 12 years in the league. I haven't seen him on the floor for Denver. Does he get on the floor? Dish Smith was nice with it though back in the day in the Sixers tanking days. DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan makes his way to the NBA Finals. Wow. Yeah, so there's the Denver Nuggets roster. There's no tanking here. There's no being at the top of the draft 5 times. They just found players that fit what they want to do. They knew how to evaluate talent, and they put together a well-oiled machine. Bruce Brown, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Nikola Jokic drafted in the 2nd round. Aaron Gordon from another franchise, not what he was supposed to be, but he turns into a role player. We'll take him over here if you don't know how to use him. Jamal Murray, great pick in the 1st round. Michael Porter Jr. falls in the draft because of injury. Great pick in the 1st round. Well done. Well done by the Denver Nuggets. Shall we look at the Miami Heat? Let's look at the Miami Heat, man, because they weren't even supposed to be this good. And credit to Jimmy Butler. I remember when he wanted to leave, and we were like, fine, go ahead and leave. And I was like, Jimmy Butler's going to go to Miami and not win anything, and that's where talent goes to die, and yada, yada, yada. I know the Dwayne Wade years and stuff, but and the LeBron years, of course, but the Miami Heat in the 90s were never good. And I thought they were going to – I thought back then when Jimmy left Philly, I thought the Miami Heat were going to end up back in what they were in the 90s, which was, you know, bottom of the barrel team. But turns out Eric Spoelstra and Heat culture is a real thing. I like that they call it Heat culture, too. They push the word culture. What culture have the 76ers had in the entire process? None. Just losing culture. So, Eric Spoelstra's a genius, and he made something out of this roster that nobody saw coming. And you can't tell me you saw it coming. I won't believe you if you say it. But let's look at it. Max Strus. Where'd they get this guy, huh? Undrafted. Yeah, no draft information here. Undrafted. The guy went to DePaul. NBA debut in 2019. Undrafted Max Strus. How would the Sixers have ever played a player that was undrafted? Like Robert Covington was undrafted. That's probably the best comparable prospect when he was at his best. TJ McConnell was undrafted too. Bam Adebayo. I think he was in the top of the draft. First round pick 14. Good pick by the Miami Heat. Caleb Martin. NBA debut 2019. Was Caleb Martin drafted? Caleb Martin was undrafted too? Is that true? Wow. Gabe Vincent. Undrafted. Wow. How many are undrafted on the Miami Heat's roster? Max Strus, Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent. Wow. They do the sign and trade for Lowry. Lowry ends up not even really being, that important of a player for them right now. He's coming off the bench. Duncan Robinson was undrafted. Absolutely. Max Strus, Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson. Wow. They make the Kevin Love signing. Jimmy Butler, of course. What happened? Jimmy Butler, 30th pick in the draft, the last pick in the first round. And he has been arguably the MVP of the playoffs. Tyler Hero, first round pick 13. So the Miami Heat, there's not 5 years of being at the top of the draft here. There's not multiple number 1 overall picks. There's not multiple top 5 overall picks. There's none of that. There's a dog mentality, Jimmy Butler. There's a couple of first round draft picks. Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, who broke his hand and isn't playing right now. And then there's a bunch of undrafted players who can dribble, pass, and shoot. You don't have to be at the top of the draft 5 years in a row to make this happen. You just don't have to. You have to be able to evaluate talent. That's what the Denver Nuggets have done. And that's what the Miami Heat have done. And that's what the Philadelphia 76ers have not done. Let's put ourselves through some turmoil right now. Couple takes in the chat. Then we're going to put ourselves through some turmoil. Are you ready? Let's look at Sixers major transactions from 2013 until now. Let's do that. They structured the team correctly. The Sam years, everyone was hurt, and since then it's been correctly or incorrectly? They structured the team correctly. Oh, those teams structured the team correctly. The Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. The Sam years, everyone was hurt. Since then, it's been confusion and who to build around. Yeah, which is why I say what Sam Hinkie didn't make any sense. You have to have direction. He didn't have a direction. He thought, I'll just draft all these guys and then I'll figure it out. It doesn't work that way because then you were playing Nerlens Noel and Jahlil Okafor trying to play them together at the same time. Then Joel Embiid got healthy. You knew he was going to start. Then Nerlens was mad that he wasn't playing. Then you waited too long to trade either of the guys. It didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work right. Look, here's the Sixers. 2013. Kwame Brown extends his contract. NBA Draft 2013. The Philadelphia 76ers selected Michael Carter Williams in round 1. They selected Glenn Rice in round 2 with pick number 5. With pick 5, I'm sorry. Round 2. Glenn Rice. They drafted Pierre Jackson. Who? Who the hell's Glenn Rice and Pierre Jackson? Let's go to the next year. 13-14. The Philadelphia 76ers placed the contract of James Anderson on waivers. Okay, let's get to something important. The draft rights to Russ Smith was acquired by the New Orleans Pelicans in exchange for the draft rights to Pierre Jackson. None of that means anything. The draft rights to Elfrid Payton were acquired by the Orlando Magic from the Philadelphia 76ers in exchange for the draft rights to Dario Saric. I won that trivia question one time at Xfinity Live Center. There was a DJ, and he was like, Sixers trivia. Who did the Sixers trade with to land Dario Saric? And I was like, Orlando Magic. And I was like, bonus points, Elfrid Payton. And he was like, wow, why do you know that? And I was like, I don't know, because I'm insane. Yeah, so they get Dario Saric. The 76ers select Joel Embiid. Round 1, pick 3. They took Elfrid Payton, round 1, pick 10, and traded the rights for Dario Saric. So Dario Saric was technically a top 10 first-round draft pick by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that's pretty crazy because Dario Saric, we thought he was a star. We thought he was a star, man. KJ McDaniels in round 2. Jeremy Grant in round 2. That was a pretty good pick. Ended up trading him for, I think, Ersan Ilyasova. Jason Richardson exercised player option to extend his contract. Holy hell, we extended Jason Richardson. That guy was already 40, I think. Let's go to 2014, 15. The Sixers, James Anderson, draft rights to Russ Smith. Oh, I was already here. 13, 14. Wait, where's 14, 15? 14 draft. Oh, I already looked at that. 15, 16. This isn't working now. Why you no work? Let's reload the page, see what happens. Hello? 13, 14. 14, 15. Why is it not giving me 14, 15? Trade deadline. What did we do in 2014 at the trade deadline? Danny Granger, Earl Clark, Spencer Hawes. Where's 14, 15? 15, 16? 16, 17? Okay, the website died. Cool. Why? What the heck happened? All right, let's go back to Google because something happened. 76ers transaction history. Right there, and then select the year that you want. There's just no information for 15, 16, 16, 17. I don't understand what happened to this website. Let's see. Basketball Reference, Yahoo, top 5 worst trades made in the history of the Philadelphia 76ers. History and notable players. No. Anyway, we can go off the top. 2016, they draft Ben Simmons. 2017, they trade the number 1 pick to move up to the top of the draft to take, or they trade the number 3 pick to move up to the top of the draft to take Markelle Fultz. They give the Boston Celtics extra draft capital. They take Markelle Fultz. The Celtics take Jason Tatum. You know how that goes down. 2018. I think that was the Furkan Korkmaz draft. They had 3 picks. I think they had 3 first-round picks in 2018. Am I right about that? And they took Furkan Korkmaz, TLC, or was that the Ben Simmons draft? Just look at the draft every year? All right, let's do that. 76ers draft by year. Let's do that. Good call. Good call. Draft history. Here we go. Let's see. 2000. Holy hell, these picks suck. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. 2016. This is the one that they had 3 picks in the first round. 15, Jahlil Okafor. All right, 14, Joel Embiid. 15, Jahlil Okafor. Rashawn Holmes. That was a good pick. He was a nice backup center that they never used, right? 2016 was a disaster. Ben Simmons, Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot, and Furkan Korkmaz, all drafted in the first round, guys. They had 3 first-round picks stacked up by Sam Hinkie, and they missed on every single one of them. Oh, my goodness. 2017. Markelle Fultz, number 1 overall. Disaster. Jonah Bolden, that was a decent second-round pick. They never used him right, I don't think. Juwan Evans, Sterling Brown. Who knows? 2018. Okay, this was the Mikal Bridges. This was the KCP was in that draft. I mean, not KCP. Michael Porter Jr. was in that draft. They draft Mikal Bridges and they trade him for nobody. Landry Shamet, decent shooter. First round draft pick? Absolutely not. There's another miss. So 3 first rounders in 2017, 2 first rounders in 2018. This is what was stacked up by Sam Hinkie. 5 first round picks in 2 seasons. They landed 1, Mikal Bridges, and they traded him. They missed on all 5. Hold on. 2016, 3. 2017, 1. 2018, 2. 6. 6 first-round draft picks in 3 seasons. And they missed on every single one. That's the death of the process right there. That's the death of the process right there. 6 first-round draft picks in 3 seasons, and they missed on every single one. They landed on 1, and they traded him. That's the death of the process. You missed on 6 first-rounders in 2 years, 3 years. That's wild. 2019, Mariel Shayok. Remember him, man? Mini KD. Tearing up the G League. Never got any NBA playing time. Who knows if he was really good or not. Admiral Schofield, I still don't know who that is. It's just crazy how much he sounds like a Civil War general. Admiral Schofield. Bruno Fernando. 2019 Carson Edwards, we traded him straight up for Matisse Thybulle, who we ended up never developing, and then traded him for Jalen McDaniels. Carson Edwards wasn't good anyway, so that was a good trade, but you know, did we develop Thybulle? No. 2019 first round pick Ty Jerome. Who? This is actually a lot of fun. 2020. Look at all these picks in 2020. We landed on Tyrese Maxey. Good pick by Daryl Morey. So I guess like the drafting incompetency back here in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 was not good. They missed on everything. So you got Daryl Morey in here, and he said, hey, someone that at least I guess knows how to evaluate talent. Gets Tyrese Maxey, good pick. Theo Melodon, I don't know who that is. But in the end of the second round, he gets Isaiah Joe and Paul Reed. 2 good second-round draft picks from Daryl Morey, who Doc Rivers refused to play. And now Isaiah Joe gets time on another team, and he's one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. And Paul Reed, I hope under a new coach, will finally be used to his full potential. Doc Rivers just hated him. Hated it. Yeah, so there's that, man. So there's that. There's the Sixers' history of failing and failing and failing and failing again. What else we got to talk about before I get out of here, man? Denver versus Miami is going to be an amazing NBA Finals. I think it's great for the NBA. Let's check it out first. Matt L., what's up, Matt? Thanks for the support. If we don't get that pick swap with Sacramento to move up to 3, we likely stay at 5 and take De'Aaron Fox. Just more garbage luck for the Sixers moving up to 2 for Turner. Yeah, I remember that. They had an 11% chance to get that number 2 pick, and they got it, and it was John Wall, number 1, Evan Turner, number 2. If we don't get that pick swap with Sacramento to move up to 3, we stay at 5 and take De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox probably would have been traded. Probably would have been traded or something else, or he wouldn't have been used right. He wouldn't have been developed right. You know how it goes. I think Miami and Denver is a great NBA Finals matchup, and I know there's still one game tonight, right? Boston Celtics are down 3-0. Where are we at with it? Tuesday, 8:30, Celtics Heat. Boston Celtics are down 3-0. Still makes me mad because, I'm not mad. I'm happy about it. I needed the Sixers to lose in the second round because I needed major changes. If the Sixers would have beat the Celtics, which they very well could have because the Celtics are frauds, as you're seeing right now, the Sixers wouldn't have fired Doc Rivers, and we would have been stuck in this going nowhere for another season or 2. So at least the Sixers did us the favor of losing in the second round again, so the coach had to be fired. Still a lot of work to do, but the Celtics are going to lose. They're not coming back from a 3-0. Miami's going to the NBA Finals against the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic. And I think this is one of the best NBA Finals matchups the NBA has gotten in a long time. Because you went through what? You went through that super team era. You went through the era of everybody trying to catch up to the Golden State Warriors. You went through like 5 straight seasons of LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers playing the Warriors in the finals, and you just kind of knew who was going to be in the finals the whole season. The NBA regular season became totally meaningless, and there was just this, you went through the Miami Heat super team era, and like everybody was just trying to build a super team, and we're finally back to parity in the NBA. We're finally back to players that were drafted and developed, and just teams that were built well around certain players. I know Miami signed Jimmy as a free agent, or did a sign and trade with us, and traded for Kyle Lowry, but really a bunch of undrafted players, just a bunch of evaluated talent, and they built a good enough roster to get to the NBA Finals. The Denver Nuggets, good drafting, good free agent signings, good trades, built a roster to get to the NBA Finals. So it's nice that the super team era is over, and it's nice to see 2 teams like this get to the NBA Finals, and I'm excited for the matchup. I think it's great for the NBA. I think it's great for the future of the NBA. So shout out to the Denver Nuggets, and shout out to the Miami Heat. I was picking the Nuggets. I was picking them last year. Obviously, they went through the year without Jamal Murray, and I was saying if they get healthy, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and everybody, man, they can be good. So they did it. Will DJ Eastwood apologize to Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic fanboys. Hold on, I can't do it yet. Can't do it yet. Before I do it, I want to say this. I've never slandered Nikola Jokic as a player. I say that he can't play defense, and he can't, but you can build the right team around him. You can put players around him that can make up that slack. I've always said Nikola Jokic is a great talent. I just thought these fans using advanced analytics to make him sound like he's the greatest player to ever play basketball was insane when you're talking about like win shares per 48 and estimated box plus minus and VORP and Raptor and all these things. But my MVP candidate, my MVP winner this season in the playoffs was a fraud. Your MVP candidate, your back-to-back MVP, Nikola Jokic, was not a fraud and is doing right now what everybody wishes Joel Embiid could do. Going out there and fighting every play, every game of these playoff series and coming up huge for his team. Last night, a one-footed fadeaway from 30 feet to ice the game to put the Lakers away in a sweep. So, Nikola Jokic fanboys, I apologize. Nikola Jokic is great. Nikola Jokic just led his team to the NBA Finals. And until Joel Embiid does that, I will never say another negative word about Nikola Jokic. And I will never compare the two players, Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, ever again. Nikola Jokic proved to us all that he is the real MVP. And I know it's a regular season award, and Joel Embiid had a great MVP regular season, and he deserved the award if we're talking just the regular season. But if we're talking most valuable player, Nikola Jokic just took his team to the NBA Finals. So there's nothing I can say. You know, he's the real deal. And now I'm rooting for him. Now I'm rooting for him. Now I'm rooting for the Denver Nuggets. I want Nikola Jokic to get an NBA championship. I want the Denver Nuggets to win an NBA championship. Maybe I'll bring Swipe a Cam on here. Tell him he was right. What else can I say, man? What else can I say? Mr. Rudy, man, thanks for the support. This front office must be toxic. Everyone we draft forgets how to play basketball or develops mental disorders. Oh, my God. This ownership group is killing me. It is crazy, man. It is crazy. They either have some kind of weird shoulder injury and nobody knows how it happened. Markelle Fultz. Conspiracy that he wrecked a motorcycle, but nobody would say it. Ben Simmons, yeah, mental disorder. I agree. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Jerry Hisu, thanks for the support. Expect good things, Sixers, with right coach and trade. What trade are you talking about, Jerry? What trade are you talking about? Because I don't know what trade you're talking about. What trade? Well, who can the Sixers trade? Nobody. They can't. Unless you trade Tyrese Maxey. You want him to do that? Tyrese Maxey is the only player on this roster that you can trade. Well, you can trade Joel Embiid. They're not going to do that either. Why would I expect good things? There's this Louis C.K. skit, one of my favorite comedians ever. And anytime I listen to that skit, I think about the Sixers. Anytime I think about the Sixers, and when people are optimistic about the Sixers, I think of this skit. He says this. He says, do you know what optimism means? Optimism is just another word for stupid. Optimists think something good is going to happen. Why would anything good ever happen? That's how I feel when people are optimistic about the Sixers, bro. Why would anything good ever happen? What have you seen in the past 40 years that would tell you something good is going to happen? I need to know. Yeah. So there's that. That's all I got, man. That's all I got. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we're going to do something a little more positive, I think. I don't know what it's going to be yet. It's going to be a little bit more positive, though, I think. Oh, this team sucks, man. This team sucks. Please trade Embiid for Ja Morant. Why would the Grizzlies do that? I mean, I know he keeps flashing guns on Instagram, but anyway, that's all I got, man. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out right here, 12 o'clock all off season. I'll be talking to you guys, man. We out of here.